Hi everyone, today we can learn about the story The Necklace. This story was an interesting story and this story actually take place in France and the author of this story is Guy de Maupassant. Let's move on to the story. A long time ago, one of the most pretty and beautiful girl was born. Her name was Matilda. Her grace and beauty was so great and she wanted a luxurious life, wearing beautiful clothes, expensive jewelry and residing in a big mansion. She could be easily chosen as a lady of great wealth, but she was born into a poor family. They had no dowry for her. She finally married a little clerk, Loisel, in the Ministry of Education, and then she was called as Madame Loisel. And she was very unhappy with her life. She believed that though she was born beautiful and clever, fate by not making her born in a rich household and married into a richer one, had played a cruel joke. She imagined vast salons decorated with antique silks, exquisite pieces of furniture supporting priceless ornaments where she could give big parties. She wished to live a life that would complement her beauty. And when she and her husband sat down for dinner, her husband delighted and asked what could be better. She imagined delicate meals served on silver plates. Madame Loisel had no fine clothes, no jewelry, nothing. And these were the only things she loved. She had a rich friend, an old school friend whom she refused to visit because she felt sorry for herself after meeting her own friend. One evening, her husband came home with an envelope in his hand. He said, "Here is something for you." Matilda fastly tore the paper and took the card and she read the words in it. The words were Minister of Education and Madame Ramponia request the pleasure of the company of Monsieur and Madame Loisel at the Ministry of Evening of Monday, January the 18th. Instead of being delighted as her husband hoped, she threw the invitation across the table, murmuring, and she asked her husband that, "What do you want me to do with this?" Her husband replied that, "You have never gone out and this is a great occasion for you." And he said he had tremendous trouble to get it. And few of the people only got an opportunity to go to clerk. And he said that she will see all the big people in there. She looked at him out of furious eyes and said, "What do you suppose I am to wear at such an affair?" He asked to wear the dress that she usually wear while going to the theater, and he said that it looked really very nice. Madame Loisel started to cry. Her husband asked, "What's the matter with you?" He asked repetitively. She replied that, "Nothing, only I can't go to this party as I don't have anything to wear." Her husband was heartbroken. He tried to compromise her and asked how much a nice dress would cost. She thought for several seconds, thinking how much money she could make her husband give her without him refusing. At last, she replied, "I don't know exactly, but I think I could do it with 400 francs." 400 francs means in Indian money it would cost about 30,000. Her husband was confused and he had saved this money for buying a new gun, for going for hunting with his friends in next summer. And finally he agreed to give 400 francs. The day of the party came near, and Madame Loisel seemed thinking. One evening her husband said to her, "What's the matter with you? You have been behaving very oddly." She replied that she was very sad because she don't have any jewelry to wear with it. Her husband said, "How stupid you are. Go and see Madame Forestier, your friend, and ask her to lend you some jewels. You know her quite well enough for that." She exclaimed and said, "That's true. I never thought of it." The next day, she went to see her friend and told her trouble. Madame Forestier took Madame Loisel to her dressing room and said, "Choose, my dear." Madame Loisel finally chose a superb diamond necklace which she wore with her gown. She was the center of attraction at the party. Everyone noticed her. All men wanted to dance with her. All ladies praised her. She received many compliments. Madame Loisel felt truly happy and thankful for the first time in her life. When they reached home, she discovered that the borrowed diamond necklace was missing. They looked everywhere but could not find it. They were scared for going to the prison. They sold everything they had and borrowed money to raise 36,000 francs to buy a replacement. The husband worked two jobs. They shifted to a smaller house. And Madame Loisel, who had dreams of luxurious life, had to do her own work. She came to know what abject poverty means. In 10 years, they were able to pay back all the money they had borrowed. But then she lost all her beauty and looked older. What would have happened if she had never lost these jewels? They were thinking lots of things like this. One day, she saw her old friend, Madame Forrester, walking with her daughter. She was still beautiful and graceful. Madame Loisel decided to go and meet her friend and tell her about what happened. But Madame Forrester doesn't recognize her. Then Miss Loisel said, "I am Mathilde Loisel." Madame Forrester replied, "Oh, my poor Mathilda, how you have changed." Mathilda replied that she had some hard times since she's her last, and many sorrows happened, and all on your account. Madame Forrester, shocked by hearing that on my account, she asked Mathilda. Mathilda replied that, "Do you remember the diamond necklace you lent me for the ball at the ministry? And I lost that." Then Madame Forrester asked, "How could you? Why you brought it back?" Then Matilda replied that, "I brought you another one just like it, and for the last 10 years she and her husband have been paying for it," and said it was not easy for us to pay too much money. Madame Forestier had halted, and she replied that, "You say you brought a diamond necklace to replace mine?" Matilda smiled in a proud and innocent happiness. Madame Forestier, deeply moved, took her two hands and said the necklace was fake and it was just 500 francs. At last, Matilda was too much exclaimed and she came to realize her mistake. The major theme of the story is we should be happy with whom we are and what we have. If our desires and greed extended to extreme level, finally we will only suffer a lot. Thank you.